100 muscle truck. We're waiting for some bushings and some hardware just so we can make sure all of the sheet metal is aligned. While we're waiting for those things to come in the mail, we're gonna start working on some of our unfinished projects. So in this video, we're gonna get the Triumph 900 Thunderbird up and running, take it out on its first drive, as well as get our turbo bug up and running again. With both of these kind of having some non-run issues. So today's all about getting those non-running projects up and going so we can sell the Triumph and so we can daily drive that turbo bug. So we're close. I don't know if we're flooding it or what, but we're gonna let it air out a little bit and we'll give it a shot in a moment. All right, not too much luck yet. We're gonna keep trying. You can see I'm just tinkering with something on the side. That's my idle screw. I'm trying to get my idle up so it'll catch and actually start up here. Fine-tuned with the idle here. Charge of the battery, I think the low battery might have also been affecting that. Let's give it another shot. Super close. It's getting late here, so I'm gonna wait till the morning, tweak it just a little bit more. We should have this bad baby burned. Then we'll rip out those clutch plates, put in some new ones, and hopefully take it for its first drive, maybe as early as tomorrow morning here. All right, so next day here, gave the battery a little time to charge. Did a little more fiddling with the idle screw. I think, really think, Should be able to get it to fire off here and actually maintain an idle. Now I'm just gonna fire it for a little bit, and then over the course of today, I'm gonna keep kind of starting it up, off and on. See if I can get that clutch to free up here. I'm really hoping I can free up the clutch before getting into everything. I do have the clutch plate, so I'm good to go if necessary, but I'm hoping this is just a quick fix. Maybe I can send the clutch plates off with the next guy. I'm gonna have them as a backup set here, because I think the clutches are actually still good. I think they're just stuck together. So we're gonna try a couple things, but first thing, let's make sure this bad girl runs. Haven't heard it run really well since, say, the fall maybe, or the early winter. So we'll get it up and going. Again, warm everything up. Hopefully that will break the plates free on their own, or we'll dive in and we'll actually put those new ones in there. Crack the garage a little bit just for smoke. Put the fan on so we don't die in here. Alright, let's finish up. Choke all the way. On position. Set to run. And it's in gear. Still working on it. All right, I can try here. All right, so after a bunch of fiddling here, got it running. It's not perfect every time. Still, I think I need some fine tuning in the clutch itself. Got a lot of smoke. Hoping that's not something with valve stems or something. Let's go ahead and try firing it up. A lot of smoke. Let's run. All right, so now moving on to the bug here. Thought it was a dead battery. This is actually stupid how easy and simple this was. So I'm gonna be honest, wiring here is awful, something I need to clean up, but it doesn't take an electrical engineer here to realize the power wire for my fuel pump popped out. So all I need to do here is actually redo my connector, and hopefully I'll get power to that fuel pump. Now I have a lot of corrosion building up back here, so I want your guys' opinion. What the hell is going on? Why do I have so much corrosion as if it was a battery or something back here? I'm guessing it's because of a bad ground or something. Maybe it was just because of that connection failing. Nonetheless, I'm going to get that up and going again, and hopefully that's all we'll need. That was for the fuel pump relay, so I'd say I'm about 80% sure that's the source of all of our problems. I'm just surprised that it happened to fall out after driving. This didn't fail while I was driving. This failed after I had parked, oddly enough. Again, let me know what you guys think. What can I do to fix all this wiring? It's really garbage, to be honest, but it was all kind of a proof of concept to get the car running. All right, so we've done a lot of troubleshooting, and this is actually crazy, but the wire disconnected for that, the relay. It destroyed the relay. I'll take it out in a minute. It burnt the pin. It actually disintegrated the pin. So I need to replace the wiring and replace the relay. It's actually pretty straightforward. I just did a straight jump to see if that was the problem. Fuel pump turned right on, so the fuel pump is good. Problem was the power wire actually wiggled loose, destroyed everything as far as the relay, the wires, but all easily replaced. And it goes to show, definitely need to clean up that wiring. That's going to be high on the list. Once the truck is up and running, we'll get back into tearing this down, maybe take it all the way apart and redo the wiring so we know it's perfect. So little upgrades we're going to do along the way there as well, but nonetheless, I'm going to get that fuel pump relay replaced, hopefully take the bug out for a ride sooner than later. So kind of checking off the list here. We got the bike all set and the bug is up and running. Now the bike's not all set. We got the bike running. What we'll do in a couple nights or so is I'll actually take those clutch plates out and replace them just so we know there's no issue. Start is still kind of intermittent here, but hopefully the more we start it and run it, the more consistent that will be. Maybe the carb needs a little fine tuning, but we'll get into all that as we keep moving forward here.
All right, so I'm getting really into this here, and I was doing a sanity check just to make sure none of the fuses are blown. There doesn't seem to be any damage on the Mega Squirt itself. So I still think it's something with power in the car. I don't know, it's still weird because it's flickering the fuel pump on and off as well as flickering the connection to actually connect to this. So I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into the wiring. This is just going to show that the wiring definitely needs a cleanup here.
All right, so I've been procrastinating this for a while here, but we're finally going to check on these clutch plates. Like, something's sticking, something's not right here. I can't get it into gear without the bike dying. It's not the kickstand. This is even when the bike's not moving. I can't get in and out of, I can't roll with the clutch put in. So what I'm gonna do, all it takes here is I'm gonna remove the brake pedal because that kind of interferes with the clutch cover. We'll pull the clutch cover off. I'm gonna just yank the old plates out, check to make sure there's no, nothing that might be causing the sticking as far as the clutch basket or the clutch drum. Assuming there's no problems there, I'm just gonna load in the new clutch plates, and hopefully somewhere in that process, we're gonna fix the problem of our sticking clutches here. All right, so a couple things I noticed while going through here. Generally, the clutch plates actually look okay. They look like they have at least a little bit more life on them. I mean, the bike itself only has 7,000 miles. From my just observations and looking at it over a couple of years of ownership now, I think what happened is the bike was dumped or fell over, or someone tipped it over while riding it at one point. I think that's what caused the damage in the sprag clutch, and I think that also might be why it kind of has such low mileage. But anyways, clutch plates look decent, so not too bad. I'm still gonna replace them either way, but I did notice quite a bit of sharp spots on the basket here. And this is actually where these little clutch nub here, they actually ride inside these pieces. And so there's a couple high sharp spots that I think maybe were causing these to get caught up closer in the back, which is where I noticed it looked like the front plates were moving, but the back plates were not. And I didn't want to record this because I'm sure this is going to break some people's hearts here to see it. But I took my file, and this is normal procedure, but I just took my file, because this is aluminum, just took my file and just dulled down any of those sharp spots. Try to kind of smooth out any bumps or protrusions. I think things feel a lot better here. I'm pretty confident that when we put the new clutch plates in, we should see everything move and release as expected. So I'm going to do a little bit more cleaning up here, kind of wipe everything as clean as I can, and then I'm going to rebuild the clutch pack and put the cover right back on. This thing hasn't even been driven, so I'm not even going to bother replacing the clutch cover gasket. If that leaks, we'll get to that problem when it happens. But I'm pretty certain this is going to be like a under 2-hour job here. So just doing a little bit more cleaning up. We'll put everything back together, and even without starting the bike, should be able to see if my fixes have helped. If I can roll the bike while it's in gear, even with the bike turned off. I wasn't able to do that prior. So I'm going to keep moving on here. And next thing you know, the clutch plates will be back in. technically good news and bad news. Good news, clutch plates are in. Doesn't look like that was the problem. So that is also the bad news because things still aren't working as we expected. I think it's actually not releasing as much as it should. Now that we have all the plates in there, we know it's good as far as clutch plates. So now I'm gonna go ahead and re-bleed my clutch master. That's the only other thing it could be here. Already in a previous video, which I'll put the link above, we did repair, I should say reseal, rebuild the slave cylinder. So actually what pushes this rod down here. So all that's left really is the actual clutch master or our clutch lever. So I'm gonna try bleeding that maybe through all the things that we did kind of move the handlebars. Maybe somehow I pulled in some air. So that's all I can think from here. So I'm gonna seal everything back up, start moving up to my clutch lever. All right, so after continued bleeding, rebuilding, we still have no solution here for that clutch. I'm laughing because I'm actually going pretty freaking crazy right now. So really the only thing I have left to try is rebuilding our clutch master. Now, originally I did try on a different clutch handle, which I might try just for the sake of it at this point, really nothing to lose. I think I'm gonna have to actually rebuild the clutch master. That's the only thing left here that I can imagine that's going wrong here. It does look a little banged up. It squeaks a little bit, even though it's not leaking. I was reading that you can get a bypass if the gaskets inside the piston are actually bad. So possibly fluid's actually bypassing the piston, and that's why we're not getting the full force to the clutch slave cylinder. Nonetheless, there's nothing else I can really do here. I'm gonna try switching out the handle just for fun, to see if that changes anything, because I do have an Amazon one to match up with the brake lever. The brake lever seemed to work, so maybe the clutch lever will work. Gonna try a couple little things here, but I think I'm gonna get a rebuild kit on order. Probably gonna take a pause on the Triumph for now. I know I can get the bug running, so I'm gonna try to end this video off on a good note here. All right, so I've been doing a little research, and there's one more thing I want to try here before we really go into some crazy stuff trying to maybe rebuild that clutch master. I'm going to try what they call a reverse bleed. So I'm going to fill the syringe up with fluid, and I'm going to pump it backwards through the bleeder up into the master cylinder. I heard that this is something you might have to do with, really, I've never had to do this before, but I hear it's actually pretty common. It's going to force the bubbles. I think there might still be air trapped in here. It's going to force the bubbles back up into the master cylinder rather than trying to force them reverse against gravity down to the bleeder. So I'm actually going to put it back on the new master that I bought off of Amazon, because hopefully if this works, I can pair it up with my the brake master cylinder I bought. So I'm going to put the other master cylinder on and try a reverse bleed here. And hopefully we'll get that clutch working. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is drain the fluid out that I've been adding in here. Actually, first thing I'm going to do is put down some paper towels. All right, so being extra diligent here, I'm gonna actually flush clean fluid through without the cylinder attached just to make sure there's no crap or crud in the lines. And then from there, I'll put the master on and I'll reverse bleed it. I'm gonna bleed it through or clean it reverse bleed style to kind of practice run. And then I'll bleed it through doing this as well.
All right, a little messy.
So just a little bit of pressure sends a lot of bit of fluid. Be careful here. Dude, have some air come out here. I don't know how I feel about it yet. Doesn't seem any different. I think I'm gonna do that a few more times and then we'll try to push it around here. So you can tell something's definitely wrong here because the fluid coming through, I don't know if you can see it from there, but the fluid coming through here, let me see if I can actually zoom in. Try this. Get you guys on the tripod. But the fluid is coming in dirty from the master itself. It's actually more dirty now than it was originally. So this master cylinder is definitely not going to solve my problem. I'm not sure why this one also seems to suck here, but I'm going to try the reverse bleed on my original master cylinder. I'm pretty sure that one's also junk. Wonder what everyone here is thinking because I'm kind of at a loss here. I'll probably rebuild my original masters to go back to the original, but this brake one works perfect. So I don't know if this master was if I just have two bad master cylinders. I'm gonna try this again with the original since I've got nothing else to do. And that's probably what I'll wrap up for this video. If that doesn't work, I'm gonna have to order some rebuild kits. But I did want to give it this one last try with the gravity bleed. It doesn't look like any air is in the lines here, but something with this master cylinder is making things very, very dirty here. All right, so I'm gonna switch out back to the original master and we'll take it from there.
All right, so even though we've been having trouble with the Triumph, we should have no issue with the bug. So we replaced the ECU relay, the fuel pump relay. I'm just gonna put in my power switch, or I should say my power kill switch, and let's see if it fires up. I think it should fire right up here.
right, so let me know what you guys think about the Triumph. Just as a reminder, what we've done over the past few videos. So I've rebuilt the clutch slave cylinder, or the clutch release cylinder. I have replaced the master cylinder. I've tried 2 different master cylinders. I've normal bleed and reverse bled the hydraulic system, and I replaced the clutch plates. So I'm kind of at a loss here. I am getting a replacement master cylinder just because I think the one I had originally was junky. I'm also gonna get a rebuild kit for the original. Hopefully one of those masters was the problem, but let me know what you guys think, because I'm kind of at a loss for words here. And I am getting a little frustrated, to be honest. All right, so that's everything we have for today. We do have a couple more parts on order for the Triumph. Hopefully, it's gonna get everything worked out. We got everything we need for the F100, so I'm gonna start getting that all put back together so we can get that on the road as soon as possible. And I got a nice little digital dash project. I'm actually gonna build the digital dash for our Super Beetle there. So as always, make sure you subscribe for more content. Hit the like button if you like what you saw, share with your friends, and hope to see you again soon.